In this video we are going to take a closer look at one of the sneaky Phobos units that serve a special role in the Deathwatch, the Infiltrators. First, we will take a look at their datasheet, abilities and war gear. Then, we will go through how to specifically make use of them in a Deathwatch army. Lastly, there will be some modeling recommendations and a quick wrap up. This release is the second part of a mini-series on the Spectrus Kill Team, which will cover all the units available to that kill team. Welcome to SwissHammer, your channel for modeling in Warhammer 40k. My name is Tammer and I will be guiding you through this video. Looking at their datasheet, they come with the standard primary Space Marine profile, which now in 9th edition is also on par with that of the Deathwatch veterans. They have a fixed loadout, which is the Marksman Bolt Carbine, 24 inches range, rapid fire 1, strength 4, AP 0 and damage 1. This is the profile of the classic bolt gun from the Tactical Marines, but the Marksman Bolt Carbine also has an extra ability on top, which is automatically wounding on an unmodified hit roll of 6. The Sergeant gets the obligatory extra attack, but given that this is not much of a close combat unit, it is not that relevant in most situations. The great strengths of the Infiltrators are with their additional war gear and abilities though. War gear options first. A single Infiltrator can be equipped with either a Helix Gauntlet or an Infiltrator Comms Array. At 10 points, the Helix Gauntlet is the more expensive upgrade. Once per turn, the first time a saving throw is failed for the bearer's unit, the damage characteristic of that attack is changed to 0. For 5 points, the Comms Array does the following. The bearer's unit is always considered to be within range of the following aura abilities of any friendly Phobos units that are on the battlefield. Rites of Battle, Tactical Precision. This refers to the reroll auras that the captain or the lieutenant have available. However, the important part to remember here is that this is restricted to the Phobos version of a captain or lieutenant. More on this later though. For abilities, Infiltrators can be deployed through concealed positions and they have Omni Scramblers, meaning that enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot be set up within 12 inches of this unit. This is also commonly referred to as Deep Strike Denial Bubble. For keywords, worth mentioning are Core, Phobos and Smokescreen. With the basics covered, how can we best use them in the Deathwatch? Due to the Deathwatch being able to take them as their own squads, as well as including them in a Spectrus Kill Team, the question is of course which one is better. While I usually run a side-by-side comparison between the regular squad and the kill team, the situation is a little different with the Infiltrators. They are what is commonly referred to as the tax for building a Spectrus Kill Team, aka you need at least 5 Infiltrators to create a Spectrus Kill Team. They are troops to begin with, and they remain so regardless of which way they are being used. This means that there are no advantages for having an actual Infiltrator squad. You could just as well make a Spectrus Kill Team, fill it up with only Infiltrators, and then get access to specialisms on top. However, where it becomes truly interesting is their interaction with mixed units. I have covered the primary skill teams and their viable loadouts in a separate video, the link is in the description. What I want to focus on in this video is how exactly the Infiltrators' war gear and abilities interact within the Spectrus Kill Team with mixed units. Good news first. While the 9th edition supplement has been fairly restrictive with mixed units when compared to 8th edition, the Infiltrators are arguably the one unit that offers the greatest synergy still. Starting with the previously mentioned war gear, the Helix Gauntlet and the Comms Array. What works in favor of these is that their description refers to the bearer's unit. This means that any other unit type in a Spectrus Kill Team, such as Eliminators, Incursors or even Reavers, get access to it. One word of advice though. While the comms array in combination with Eliminator sounds fantastic at first, keep in mind that it only works with Phobos HQs. For the Deathwatch, this creates a bit of a problem because our HQ choices are often locked in place. The captain is commonly used with a storm shield for the Dominus Aegis relic, leaving no room for a Phobos captain. The lieutenant, on the other hand, is less desirable due to other sources of wound rerolls and fierce competition in the HQ slots. While the popular 5 Dreadnought list John Lennon piloted to victory at the recent Onslaught GT does make use of the Reaver Lieutenant, which could in turn work in combination with the comms array, that list is super tailored and those HQ choices do not go as well with other popular Deathwatch lists. In short, for most Deathwatch lists, the Helix Gauntlet becomes the more optimal choice, offering additional protection for the Eliminators mixed into the Spectrus Kill Team. If you do need additional wound rerolls, there's always the option to pay a premium and get one of the specialisms, in which case you'll end up with the best of both worlds. War gear aside, the Omni Scramblers work as following in the Spectrus Kill Team. The Omni Scrambler's ability only applies while there are any Infiltrators or Infiltrator Sergeant in this unit. While this sounds restrictive at first, it opens up the possibility to spread the Infiltrators across 2 combat squads and with that get 2 Deep Strike Denial bubbles for the price of 1. A commonly used combination is to use 4 Eliminators and 1 Infiltrator in a combat squad. The latter will then also get the Helix Gauntlet. Last but not least, the Spectrus Kill Team also has the following entry on keywords. While a Spectrus Kill Team contains any Infiltrator or Incursor models, it has the Smokescreen keyword. Once again, this just creates some fantastic synergy where basically a single Infiltrator can give Smokescreen to Eliminators. Speaking of stratagems, the 2 most popular ones would be the mentioned Smokescreen as well as Guerrilla Tactics, which allows them to go back to reserve and then arrive again next turn. We could also use the Teleportarium, but as they already get concealed positions, it's questionable whether that's a viable option. Along those same lines, they have access to some additional Space Marines and or primary stratagems, but due to them being neither much of a ranged or close combat threat, it is usually not worth using the CP on that. All in all, it should not come as much of a surprise when I say that I personally consider them a fantastic inclusion in the Deathwatch, especially when used in a Spectrus Kill Team combined with Eliminators. Whenever I can afford them, I bring them along. With that being said, let's have a look at some modeling recommendations. Due to their fixed loadouts, it is generally alright to go for the easy to build models contained in the Start Collecting Vanguard or the Space Marine Combat Patrol. The relevant limitations will apply to the Eliminators rather than the Infiltrators. Those 2 boxes also come with a Helix Gauntlet, so that part is also covered. In comparison, there is of course the option to get them through the more pricey separate kit, with that one having the option to also build Incursors from it. The separate kit also contains 2 comm arrays, but it lacks the Helix Gauntlet, which I found a little odd. What I personally did was using the spare comms array arm piece and putting an apothecary symbol on it. You can carefully cut that away from some spare bits, for instance the extra pistol that comes with the Primaris apothecary. Other than that, the assembly is pretty straightforward. What I personally did was adding a little LED effects on mine. The guide to that is linked in the description. To wrap things up, The Infiltrators are the sneaky space marines that serve a special role in the Deathwatch. They are the mandatory tax paid in order to build a Spectrus Kill Team. However, due to their unique war gear, namely the Helix Gauntlet and the Comms Array, as well as their Omni Scrambler ability, they offer a lot of synergy when used in a Spectrus Kill Team. While mixed units benefits are generally quite restrictive in the 9th edition supplement, in case of the Infiltrators, pretty much everything works to the benefit of the whole kill team. One Infiltrator is enough to get Omni Scramblers and the Smokescreen's keyword, and their special war gear also works on the other models in the kill team. This results in some pretty amazing combinations, like Eliminators getting access to Smokescreen and making use of the damage mitigation from the Helix Gauntlet. For Stratagems, next to the already mentioned Smokescreen, what further stands out is guerrilla tactics, allowing them to be put back to reserves. All in all, it should not come as much of a surprise when I say that I personally consider them a fantastic inclusion in the Deathwatch, especially when used in a Spectrus Kill Team combined with Eliminators. The latter have received a points decrease in the recent June FAQ, making also the Infiltrators more desirable than ever. So that's it for the Infiltrators in the Deathwatch. Have you guys been using these yourself, or are you favoring other models instead? Let me know in the comments. Finally, I would also like to mention that there is a SwissHammer Facebook page where I will be posting links to my videos as well as articles I find of interest. I do read a lot about the hobby, but not all of it will always end up as its own video. I look forward to seeing you there as well. I do also have a Patreon page. If you like my content, any additional support is greatly appreciated as it helps me invest into future videos. As always, thank you very much for watching, guys. Your continued support is greatly appreciated. I hope you have been enjoying this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks again and see you next time.